Okay, hello. I'm gonna review this film Ex Machina. Uh, yeah, I didn't like it that much. The rating was pretty good. I thought it would be good. I like how it's got an underscore to make it like all computer techy. So I guess the main thing is I didn't like the characters much. These guys I don't really like much. And she's pretty, but it's very clear the whole time that it's just a lady walking around wearing some kind of, I was imagining parts of it were just green and they just CGI those parts. It never seems like a robot, never feels like a robot. It always just feels like a woman, a girl pretending to be a robot. Because I just feel like the plot doesn't get that deeply into how did this guy, how did he make this life, like how did, you know what I mean? Like just doing makeup is tough. Even experts in that area just trying to get the details, and he can get this perfect face that's completely indistinguishable from a real person's face. He can get physical movement. You look at the robots that we've actually got in real life; they're just barely struggling to lift things up and move it over here, and you knock them and they kind of regain their balance. And she just effortlessly walks around, completely natural human movement, very gentle, feminine, and she has, I don't know what her history is. I don't know. The movie doesn't get into that. Also, this guy's name is like Domhnall Gleeson. There's an H, Domhnall or something. I think that's what it is. And then this guy is Oscar Isaac, which is like two first names. I'm pretty sure I'm getting it right. Right. I'm just stressing out. But yeah, this guy's kind of drunk, and he's just not drunk, but he drinks, and he doesn't seem like a nice guy. He just seems like a jerk. He seems up himself. He doesn't seem very friendly. Kind of rushes the other guy into signing something. I didn't really like that. But the other guy is also kind of seems not socially that skilled. Not that I necessarily am, but at least I don't know. I try to have a bit of personality, or like to be happy. I like to joke around. He seems. That's the thing in movies. I want characters. I don't mind if they're kind of having a rough time, but I want them to have something in them. I just watched Shawshank Redemption recently, and at least you could sense there's hope in the main character. Just if he was like miserable the whole time, it'd be a miserable movie to watch. And I feel like this guy just, it doesn't seem to be much going for him, at least not in him. Anyway, let's get into the plot a little bit. It's like a test, the Turing test, but the whole thing with the Turing test, it's to see if a computer can trick you into thinking it's human. And usually it's meant to just be through dialogue, through like speech. So, for example, just typing into a kind of like a chat thing. And you've got to be able to tell, is it a human or a computer? But that's the thing, you can't know in advance. So it's completely stupid if this guy knows it's a robot or a cyborg or android, whatever the word is. And can just talk to her or it, whatever, and then has to decide, is it human enough? You already know it's a robot. But yeah, it's not convincing. He also doesn't seem like inquisitive enough. I would be asking lots of subtle questions, pushing things a little further, like being like a little kid and just asking why. And I think what you'll find, it depends how the guys designed this robot, but a lot of the time computers will give technical answers, or they'll say that is unknown, or I don't know that. It'll end pretty quickly. You say, why is the sky blue? And they'll say it's because of, and it'll just refer to some Wikipedia entry or something, find some little blurb that may or may not be easy for someone else to understand. That's the thing. How did she get all her memories and her speech patterns, and none of that seems to be explored. Anyway, the plot gets a little darker, and this guy has, I don't know, I guess they're kind of like sex robots. There's this other woman, a female robot, kind of Asian looking, and he's so impatient with her. She like drops something, and he's like getting furious at her. That's the other thing. He's not likable. That's just the guy with glasses. Yeah, there's other parts where she's naked, and that's okay, but it just seems like, what is this even about? The other guy goes into his place and looks and finds video of, I'm spoiling the whole thing, by the way, video of these past robots trying to escape and breaking apart, and it's kind of weird. But I don't know, it feels kind of superficial. It feels like the plot could have gotten more interesting, but doesn't. There's other details like there's blackouts or redouts. Everything goes red. Can't even remember why that happened. Was she causing it, this cyborg, or was it something else? I have a weird feeling like she was doing it, or it just seems to happen. But yeah, it's not fun when you got a movie and there's the one guy you don't really trust, and in the end, yeah, he wasn't really trustworthy. But he just seems like kind of a jerk. It's not really clear why he even invited this guy. I guess he wanted to play a game with him. Like, he picked him not because he was smart, but because he was kind of lonely or wanted a girlfriend maybe, and would be more susceptible to this kind of falling in love with a robot. And then it's like, yeah, kind of pushing this boundary of this robot then wants to escape. I feel like it's a bit of a cliche that the whole idea of destroying your creator, where the robot finally, I guess is like, it's considered poetic, but to me the big thing is like how you actually created a robot that can think. Like, how does it work? And let's explore that a bit. Let's explore the psychology of even just human consciousness. What does it mean to be conscious, to think, to be alive, to feel things? But it doesn't really explore any of that. It's just taken for granted. Okay, you just built this perfect robot. It's just a girl with like sparkly, internal robot parts, but otherwise just some lady. And then they sit and talk about things, and I really don't feel like he pushes her. He doesn't try to ask interesting questions, and then we get a little bit of a, like, the guy keeps saying, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going? You like her? You think she's good? You can have sex with her and stuff. She's got." It's just like, really, why? I wasn't really impressed by the special effects. I think AI, the Steven Spielberg movie, I think Kubrick was originally going to do at some point. It's got Haley Joel Osment. There's special effects in that I think are really cool for the time. Back in 2001. Including somewhere you've got a human face and sort of like opens up. And at the time I thought it was really good. I haven't seen it in a while, but the stuff in this feels similar, and it doesn't look that hard to do, and it doesn't look that impressive. But the worst thing is the story. I just didn't like where it went. I was trusting that it was going to go further. Parts of it maybe a little bit like a thriller or a horror as things unfold, but it's not like, there's parts where it shows some code on the screen. It actually I was able to figure out some of the like ASCII, just because I've solved problems before, and it was like ISBN, and I was like, oh, it must be some book, and it was a reference to primes. It was just stupid though. Like, I guess it's a nice Easter egg, but like, I would have, instead of having just random code and being like, oh, look how smart it is, I would have preferred some more insight into human beings. Like, even the Matrix has some interesting ideas. Like, there's a part where there's a reference to, the original Matrix was more of a utopia, but humans rejected it. Somehow they could tell it wasn't right. I don't know if that would be realistic. I think people would just accept what their surroundings are, but it's an interesting idea that human beings need something kind of more chaotic, or a bit like, yeah, so the late 90s, that seems to be the peak of civilization within that film. Inception has interesting questions like, how do you know if this is real? A little bit like in The Matrix, you think that's air you're breathing, but Inception goes much further. It's a fundamental ambiguity. Even after you've woken up for a dream, how do you know that wasn't itself a dream within a dream? Or even it can be taken further. There's also the idea of tracing the origin of a thought. So, for example, like I said, if you ask her a cyborg a technical question, there's a good chance that they're just going to refer to some source. And it's not, I mean, this is true of everyone actually. All of your knowledge, like, where did you get it from? That's why I think it's really good if you know, don't just know things, but you know how you know them. You know why you know them, meaning you understand them. And that way you could also be like, pretty sure I read somewhere this, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Whereas other things, you could be like, I know from experience, I've seen it really times. Like, I know 3 plus 4 equals 8, right? Just kidding. Just trying to trick people. 7, okay? The way it was filmed, this one was also alright, but I don't know why it keeps showing. I just figured, like, whatever. Yeah, it's okay, but nothing special. I was just really underwhelmed. I didn't like the characters. It didn't go into interesting places. It kind of felt very predictable in the end, and just kind of lame. Like there's nothing profound going on. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't really thought provoking at all in any major way. It just, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I didn't like it. Okay, it's a 5 out of 10 maybe. Maybe 5 out of 10 because it was okay. Like I was getting into it. All right, bye.